Hi, I'm Laverne Cox, and you're watching Out at the Center.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Take your time. Let's do it, baby. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Do it right. Come on, baby. Let's do it. Let's do it.
This year, the Center celebrated its 25th anniversary in many different ways. Recently, we honored a Center employee who was the first person hired when the Center came into existence in 1983. Many friends and board members, past and present, came out to honor Robert Woodworth.
This is a great occasion to celebrate Bob and his work and our relationships together.
Robert Woodworth. 25 years of dedicated service.
I'm looking forward to the next 25 years. I expect to be here at his 50th anniversary at the Center.
On the heels of recent protest and town hall meetings over marriage equality, the Center hosted a panel sponsored by Ernst & Young's tri-state LGBT network, Beyond. Kathy Marino Thomas of Marriage Equality New York and other panelists weighed in on the state of same-sex marriage.
So I'm going to start the first question to Kathy and just talk about what is the state of affairs right now in terms of New York. Where are we? Where have we been? Maybe you can give a little history of what's been going on in New York and where you think it's heading.
We're actually not in bad shape here. Our governor is obviously supportive. He's come out many, many times in support of our community in general, for our general civil rights, and particularly marriage equality. We look to the state Senate right now to allow the bill to come to the floor for a vote. And we are very, very hopeful that they will allow it to come to the floor in quick order behind, of course, the economy and the issues behind that.
Gordon and Elliot participate in the Over 75 discussion group run by SAGE, Services and Advocacy for Gay, Lesbian, Bisexual, and Transgender Elders. These two delightful gentlemen were kind enough to speak with Out at the Center and share with us the things that make them tick.
I belong to a group called 75 Plus. Originally, as I understand it, the group was 80 plus, but everybody started dying off. So they reduced the age to 75 plus.
I wrote an article from a medical magazine about people of my age, what problems they have, and I had every one of them.
The depression was about 20 years ago. I remember a psychiatrist suggested that I had to be with people, and he suggested that I should come to the Center. I try to be active, and I find that if I do a great many activities, I don't get as depressed as I used to be. And by coming to the Center and activities at the Center and with SAGE, I find a great deal of camaraderie and a great deal of activities to do.
I came out after I was retired because I figured it was safe then to my family and all, and they always knew, they knew I was gay anyway, so it was rather silly.
I'm on the SAGE Walk Committee, which we do walks twice a month, and I attend 3 different sessions at SAGE. I choose different activities, research them, and make the plans and reservations. I
belong to a lot of different theater groups where they're cheaper, you know, I can't afford Broadway, they're too expensive, but I go to these off-Broadway shows, and you can get a series for like 3 shows for $110 or something like that, which is reasonable. My former boyfriend, the one that died after 27 years, with his family, we're very close. We talk a lot too. They come to visit me also.
At the moment, my boyfriend George Lawson died 3 years ago on Bastille Day. So every time I hear the Marseillaise played, I think of George.
I have one of these. How about you?
Shall we nibble? Come closer.
I'm nibbling.
Come closer so we can nibble together. Suppose I feed you. Can I feed him?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind someone living with me because it would help my being not so lonely sometimes. And I'm still very interested in sex. Just like I said, all of us over 75 are still interested in sex. Most of us aren't able to have much sex. Men, when they get my age, but it's true, and so you can't do much other than if you have a younger person with you, you can try to do something for them, you know. Like my current boyfriend, he's basically gay even though he's married and has a child. And we like each other very much and get along very well.
I personally am giving a lecture on homoerotic art in New York City during the 20th century. This was a toilet, as you can see the stools, you can see the remnants of everything, the piping, etc., etc. And these were individual 3 stalls in here. And when I first took pictures of these for my art lectures, I used to get in the toilet and stand on the seat of the toilet to shoot the different angles of the room because you see the lighting is so diffused. There is an organization at the center that I was there at the founding of called the Art Group. And the group is for gay artists. It's primarily for younger guys and gals.
I just don't realize that I'm that old. I still think I feel younger inside than I do outside. No, of course not. Not till I die.
On November 30th, the eve of World AIDS Day, a small group gathered at Pier 49 on the Hudson River Walk to dedicate the AIDS Monument. The project of the AIDS Monument Committee took 14 years to come to fruition and is located on the Hudson River Park at Bank Street. The curved granite bench has an inscription on the side facing the river that states, "I can sail without wind. I can row without oars, but I cannot part from my friend without tears." Aid for AIDS is an organization that redistributes unused HIV medications from the United States to Latin America and the Caribbean. They maintain a drop box in the lobby of the center that has collected over $60,000 in unused HIV medications that have been sent to people in need abroad. Out at the center paid a visit to Aid for AIDS to hear about their work in HIV care, prevention, and advocacy throughout the developing world.
Aid for AIDS was founded in 1996 by Jesus Awais. He was a health educator in St. Vincent Hospital. When the antiretrovirals started coming into the market, he started seeing all this medicine going to waste, because when the doctors switch the medications, all what you have at home have to be thrown away, because in America you cannot give your medications to anybody else. So he started collecting medications to send back to his friends in Venezuela. They were dying of HIV and there were no medications over there. And today we became the largest recycling program in the world. At the center we have a drop-off box. We collect antiretrovirals and what we call prophylactics, which is ibuprofen, antibiotics, anything that can help people living with HIV and AIDS.
We are sending medication to 33 different countries around the world. We had almost all the countries in Latin America and the Caribbean. We had sent approximately like $45 million of medication abroad. We have helped more than maybe 3,000, 4,000 people. Even with this little percentage that we're collecting, we are helping this amount of people, and we are changing lives. Then what happens if this percentage it goes up? How many lives we can save?
I think we have seen heroes everywhere. This guy from Massachusetts who saw the CNN piece and he said, "I just got so motivated about what you do, how can I help?" So he decided to take our cause over. He decided to introduce me to all the people he knew in Massachusetts. He worked for AIDS organizations as a consultant. And now we have about 7 drop-off boxes in Massachusetts, and we're collecting about $300,000 worth in medications. At the same time, I have someone in New Jersey who's doing exactly the same thing, a nurse practitioner who's very committed to us. He gives me every year a booth in ANAC, which is the National AIDS Conference for Nurses in AIDS Care. And through this free booth, I can get access to nurses, doctors, and case managers and tell them about the program. They're all heroes because they, in some ways, they realize how much they can contribute to someone else's life with so little.
En mi país, en Perú, no había acceso a tratamiento y de cierta manera el hecho de ir a una oficina en Perú y ser una de las pocas personas privilegiadas en esa época de vivir con VIH y tener tratamiento y ver que mis amigos morían porque no tenían acceso a ellos, me fue llevando a involucrarme en este tema. Pero básicamente fue el hecho de que me despidieran en un trabajo por el hecho de que descubrieran que vivía con VIH y SIDA. Y el no saber mis derechos, de que si podían o no podían hacer esto en contra de mi persona. Averiguando de que realmente, y dándome cuenta y aceptando de que el hecho de recibir un diagnóstico de vivir con VIH y SIDA no te implicaba el de que tú perdías tus derechos como ciudadano, me fue involucrando en este tema. A4AIDS es una de las organizaciones pioneras, se puede decir, en lo que es acceso a tratamiento en el Perú.
We are very well known in Latin America and the Caribbean.
We had this program for almost 3 years. It's called ¿Cuánto sabes de VIH y SIDA? Or How much do you know about HIV and AIDS? It's addressing adolescents at the schools. We had this program in 8 different countries. We have reached more than 100,000 kids. Our purpose is not only bring the HIV information, how to transmit and how to prevent the infection, but also trying to change sexual behaviors.
Otro de los programas que están haciendo prácticamente es el Observatorio Mujer. Que este no es un observatorio de solamente para mujeres viviendo con VIH y SIDA. Este es un observatorio para mujer en general. Una mujer que es vulnerable ante el VIH-Sida, ante una violencia doméstica que te puede llevar a adquirir el VIH-Sida, ante un compromiso o una falta de educación sexual que también lleva a la mujer a ponerla en vulnerabilidad contra el VIH-Sida.
96 cents of each dollar donated to Aid4AIDS goes to services. So we cost so little, we can do so much. I think everybody should know that we're a great investment in terms of saving lives one by one.
The center produced a series of videos for friends and partners of individuals who use crystal methamphetamine. In this next message, called To Stay or To Go, friends of users talk about the decision you face when someone you love uses meth.
It's okay for you to be upset. It's okay for you to care. And it's okay not to know what to do, and it's okay to make mistakes.
I don't know. I mean, I have mixed feelings. I still want to be with him, but I'm afraid. I'm afraid. I'm just scared. I mean, I don't know what to expect. I mean, I don't know if I want him to go and get some help. I want him to change, but he's got a lot to do to work on himself.
I knew he knew that people wanted him to stop. I knew that he knew people were secretly disappointed with him. And just praying for him to have the strength, really, to face his grief, face the situation, move on, connect back with people that care for him, have always cared for him, and will be there for him.
I've heard stories over and over again about people who found themselves after a period of meth addiction. They've often alienated a lot of the people who are their friends, and so they feel very alone. And that for me was, after hearing that story from, I can't tell you how many people, that was a big piece of my decision to keep calling my friend and saying, let's have lunch, even though he doesn't want to right now. But I figure when that moment comes, if that moment comes, he'll know that I'm there.
After, I think, the whole experience that we've been through, today I can say that I definitely trust him. I think that, and I'm grateful. I thank God that we've gotten to a point where we can talk about it and say, do you remember those days?
Sometimes all you can do is just keep trying to love him. And That still is the best advice I've found. It's just remember, this is still my friend. This is still someone who has been there for me. And I don't like what they're doing and I don't like the way they're behaving, but I love them.
Darlinda, just Darlinda, is a New York-based neo-burlesque performance artist who is no stranger to Out at the Center. She recently sat down with us to talk about her first foray into the living art milieu, a social experiment she called Year in Rainbow, in which she explores the colors of the rainbow, both individually and together. This is her experience.
I heard about kind of lifelong color-based projects from Morty Diamond, and he's a transgender man that did a whole year in pink, and I was actually working with him at the time. And I said, I should do a year in rainbow, and he was like, yeah, do it. And he was like, you should, and he was serious. And so I went on to do a little research about like color-based projects, and I discovered Linda Montano. And she has done whole years in color based on the chakras, the different color chakras. My birthday is July 31st, so I thought, okay, why don't I start August 1st? That's when my year begins, essentially. So I thought, well, I mean, it'd be great to wear rainbow every day, but I'd like to also explore the other colors. I decided to go with the 6-color rainbow, which is actually the gay flag, which is red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, which is 6 colors. And that works out with the whole year because there's 12 months, so every other month is rainbow, and every other month is a color. I started with red, which is, you know, the first color, the most vibrant color in the rainbow, and also happened to be my favorite color. I actually really just did a basic, sexy striptease with a red dress. Tigger, who is a burlesque performer, he's very first ever Mr. Exotic World, very interesting character. He would give me a disc of music every month that he made, like a mix.
I just looked for a broad range of music that was all about the color orange, or whatever color it might be.
I call it the Orangical Oracle, and I wanted to, because orange is sort of like the womb chakra, and like the sort of like this, I sort of thought of like this sacred oracle, like this, you know, you often see monks in orange, and it has this kind of sacred color, sacred vibe around it. Green was really fun. We did a green with Envy show. For the blue month, I did a music show, and it was all, everybody was singing. Blue is the throat chakra. And then for purple, we actually did a video, and we did I had this, because purple is like the, you know, it's kind of, it's like the head chakra, the kind of like royal color, like, I don't know, to me just like, it's also very sexy and passionate, and so I had everybody dressed in purple. People definitely had reactions to what I was wearing. People were like just really like offended by me looking like a clown, or like if I would go out like in drag makeup, like what I'm wearing now, a lot of people would think I was a drag queen, and then they would, you know, think I was a gay man, and so then I got gay bashed essentially. It was over August 1st, but a year project takes a while to sort of process and think about. To challenge how people felt about color and what color meant to them. Like that was the reaction with public, that happened. To work in different mediums and collaborate with different people, that happened. I think through this project I've kind of realized that, yeah, I'm a burlesque performer, but I'm also a performance artist. I'm a performer, and I think that doing a life as art project is what it's called, or a living art project. You're performing every day essentially, and I mean that's what in life we perform. You know, we come to work, we put on our best face, we leave our shit at home. That's what you do on stage. You put on someone else's face, you know, or you're telling a story, and it may not be your story at the moment, but it's the story you're telling. And you know, with living art, it's like you're creating your own story.
Darlinda is really one in a million. And though you're never going to meet anyone like her, spending a little time with her, some Darlinda is likely to rub off on you. And apparently all the colors of the rainbow.
The business networking organization Out Professionals also celebrated their 25th anniversary this year. Many of their events are hosted at the center, including this one, where celebrated Broadway writer and director Arthur Lawrence spoke about love, relationships, and theater. We learn how his longtime partner, Tom Hatcher, influenced his current production of Gypsy and the upcoming bilingual production of West Side Story.
I ask, knowing I don't and won't know all the answers. Some I guess at. Others I choose to answer my way for myself. Why am I here? I don't ask that. I have no answer, nor does anyone have an answer for me. Why am I gay? That isn't important to me either, but it was and still is to too many others. Well, I was born gay. Why do I say that? I knew I was gay when I was 7. How? Sex. At 7? At 7, I knew I was attracted to boys sexually. How did I know? Take my word. Do I ever wish I weren't gay? How could I? I would never have had the life I had with Tom Hatcher if I hadn't been gay. What I try to bring to the theater, both as a writer and a director, comes from the gifts of that life. Tom and theater. That's what my life has been.
Was it Tom Hatcher's idea to do it partly in Spanish?
Oh, that's a story worth telling. Tom was my partner for 52 years. And he always had a project, and one of his projects was to learn Spanish, which he did, and he became fluent in it. So he went to South America quite a lot. I went with him sometimes. Separation helps a relationship sometimes. And he saw West Side Story in Bogota in Spanish. Anyway, he came back and he said, it was very different seeing West Side, where the hometown language was Spanish, and it was done in Spanish. So the Sharks were the heroes, and the Jets were the villains. And that was fascinating, and I said, if only we could find a way of equalizing the two gangs here. And he said, why not have the Sharks speak Spanish? I counted on Tom to help with the translation and to be there in rehearsal. But he died of lung cancer 2 years ago, next week. We had some friends we called F&F. They were his friends originally, Federico and Fernando in Buenos Aires. Federico was in the embassy, American embassy, but the two of them were translators and agents and entrepreneurs. I knew they wanted to do West Side. And I said, do you have a script in Spanish? And they said, oh, yes. We have one that Tom vetted, and the corrections are in his handwriting. And that was kind of like a message to go ahead for him. West Side is an act of love for Tom. So I hope it's going to be very different than any West Side anyone has ever seen, not only because of the being bilingual, but something else which I'm not going to tell you. I have to not say some things.
You've said that the original West Side and Cajo Fall were two of the best collaborations you've ever been part of. Is the current Gypsy the third?
I was only collaborating with myself, yes.
Is Patti LuPone the most sexual Rose you've had?
Yes. Tom urged me to do this Gypsy with Patti LuPone. You have to think of when a piece was written, Gypsy was written in 1959. When you think what the country was like then, what the theater was like then, what musicals were like then, it's all very different now. With Ethel Merman, Rose was kind of a cheery, well-met buddy. And if she did something not nice once in a while, wow, what the hell, you know. That was Ethel. But by now, it was about more than show business. It really is about love. And I've always felt, and this time I could do it, that what Gypsy is about is the need for recognition that every one of us needs, no matter what we do or who we are. Life is about people. Nothing is more important than people. And the most important thing is if you're lucky enough to have love.
And that's all for this edition of Out at the Center. As the credits roll, we'll see highlights from the recent Youth Pride Chorus concert called Revelations at the Cherry Lane Theater. Thanks for watching. Happy holidays, and all the best for your queer new year. I'm Laverne Cox. Stay in the love.
Don't be a bad audience member. Don't be no bad audience member. And the recording devices, talking your life like it's everyone's business. Don't be one of those. The audience members, I can't. If you want it,